Okay, so next thing we had was we need 70 ml of Hedion and 60 ml of linalool. So at this time, as you can see, it's a bit of cloudy, and you know that we're not scared of it, because what's going to happen when all the colors are mixed and all the oils are mixed, this will become into amberish, brownish kind of perfume. But if you want to give a kind of a color to it, you can. But at times I rather not. I just keep my perfume into brownish, amberish, gold-like perfumes. And yes, I can make them into crystal clear, transparent, but they're not very attractive. So if a perfume, it depends on the perfume as well, what kind of oils we're using, and where we're using perfumes that has a white color or transparent color, sorry, then basically I look at the if the perfume is belong to aqua family or a woody family, or if it's a different kind of whatever kind of perfume that is, then that kind of color goes in. So a lot of my perfume I like personally amberish, gold-like colors. So then it is more attractive for customers as well. At times they like aqua color, greenish blue. So we have made a few oils that has that kind of color. Okay, so without wasting time, we're gonna do 70 ml of Hedion and 60 ml of linalool. So I'll just mix them, and all together would be 130 ml. So this time what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to use the bigger quantities first. Once you have the bigger quantities in, you will have kind of an idea what kind of smell it creates, and it everything to do with the quantities, how much quantity you're using. If you are not careful in quantities, not measuring them right, yes, the smell will be affected. So the other factor is dilution. So if a supplier is selling you for example GLAXOLIDE and it says 50, so that means there's 50% diluted, and there are different things inside. For example, DEP could be added, or there's another type of solvent is added to it. So it's not 100%, it's 50%. And then you have, at times you get 70%. To me 70% is more what I like. But then if it's a 70%, it's not 100%, I reduce the quantity of DEP and I increase the quantity of the GLAXOLIDE, which is at 70%. So how to tackle it? It depends, if it's the oil has DEP in there. So for example, assuming 100 ml of DEP, 100 ml of GLAXOLIDE, but GLAXOLIDE is at 50%, meaning it's 50% diluted. So I go with 50 ml of DEP and then 150 ml of GLAXOLIDE. So this way I can roughly, I might have a numerical mistake there, but when you do a calculation, you can write down on a piece of paper and then eliminate the factor of the DEP there. And then you calculate if you needed GLAXOLIDE 100%. This way you can get 100%, hopefully. But then again, it depends on what kind of oils or chemicals, synthetic chemicals, you're getting from your suppliers. If they are saying what they are, then you're in luck. You will have the required smell that you wanted. But if it isn't, then basically you have a problem there, because you're not getting whatever you try, whatever you measure. So make sure you get from a reliable, trusted supplier, the oils and supplies. There are so many there, but not so many. There are few good ones. and you have to bear the cost if you buy from a supplier. Unless you are in wholesale, you get a good deal, but you need to buy in big volumes. Last but not least, always try with the small quantities. Now if I say 1100 ml, so if you have an idea that I'm not going to make 1 kg, 1 liter of an oil, because it's just a hobby and I want to use it for my personal reason, you know, so for my personal use, then basically you multiply 1100 times 0.1. So when you multiply this by 0.1, it means it's 10%. So 110% in total you'll make. But then the issue is when you use the smaller quantities of other one of the molecules, or let's say 20 ml, we use for the whole 1100 ml. So you need to multiply this 20 ml with 0.1 as well. So multiply everything, all the quantities, by the required amount that you need. Most likely you will get there, but it's just hard to get to measure how much you have for smaller quantities that we use in the whole mixture, like when it's the required volume of 1100. Hopefully it's clear. If it's not, then leave a comment and I can clarify that. So for example, in this oil we have balsam absolute, and that's 1%, meaning it's 1 ml. But don't ignore the 1 ml. Reason is, it's not just okay, what if this 1 ml is not there, the perfume will be fine. It doesn't work like that. If you have an oil that is for instance at 1 ml quantity in the whole 1100 ml, what does it mean? Maybe that 1 ml that we're using, for example in this case the balsam that we're using is absolute, so this one might be a very aggressive means it's a very strong. I'll give an example of ambergris. Ambergris has a very strong, it take over everything. Jasmine is another one. So if we're using very small quantity of an oil or a synthetic, there is a reason for it. It might have a very strong smell. Another example I can use is if there's an oil that is, or a synthetic oil has animalic smell to it. Civet is a very animalic. You don't want to smell civet, you know, on its own, but you just need 0.5 ml, or maybe dilute it to 10%, and then use 1 ml of that. If this is a calculation, there must be a reason for it, that the smell is too harsh and it will take over everything. So that's why we are using a very small quantity of it. But what if it's missing? If it's missing, you won't get the required result from the perfume. Hopefully it's clear. Okay, the only concern I have so far is the oil is very cloudy, and from the early stage sometimes I don't bother, but I've used the big quantities first, and let's hope that all the other synthetic oils, or the absolute oils I use, they will control that. For some reason my machine is playing up. The speed, I normally use 50%. I don't use too fast. At time I have to, but most of the time I don't. So